October 22nd select board meeting. They're on the second page of your, right behind the agenda.
What's that?
That's music to go along with it.
I don't know where your folder is. You take it home? Okay.
It's more fun.
On number 2, the goodie bill is spelled wrong. It should be Good Dale Bill.
Yeah, and that's the one, there's a parenthesis right after Turkey Mountain Road in front of will be. But I don't know what the back part is. Do you know what I mean?
Which one are you looking at?
Will be delayed.
Oh, there it is.
Turkey Mountain Road will be delayed, end of parenthesis?
There should be an end of parenthesis somewhere.
Someplace.
Yeah. Right.
Or no parenthesis.
At this time.
Probably
I would take the first parenthesis, the opening parenthesis out.
I would too, that's what I like best.
Yeah.
Okay, good, I go with yes.
So you're taking out the parentheses?
Yeah.
And then spell Goodyville Road.
Yeah.
Correct.
On number 11, it's the Turkey Mountain Road. So we're saying that 1 and 2 will be a town expense, and then 3 and 4 will be done by the highway department.
Same difference, really.
It is, but wasn't 1 and 2 built into the FEMA?
I think, yeah, but they were all, I think, just delineators.
Yeah, just the lineators, but I thought that was going to be done by FEMA.
Well, there's
No,
paid
the
for it.
delineators are gonna be
We've already
done by
got
the town.
money probably.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They were paid for, so it's at FEMA's expense, not town's expense, right? Oh. who
Yes,
knows?
depends how you want to word that, but yeah.
And I can't answer that question because poor Bob isn't here today, so I don't know for sure. I was hoping someone else remembered.
Let me see here. Hold on a second.
Well, I'm sure they were part of those small projects.
Well, it was one of those bizarre things because we had to break it up and it was just, it's not a critical element.
Yeah.
No, not critical.
2 and 3 are delineators. They're going to be done by the town.
Right.
No,
Oh, 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
I mean, 2. I've got 2 and 3 on my notes. But
Yeah. See, 1 and the delineators, there's not much left to do on those 2. They're little projects. So 5 was the big one, and we can nothing to do about that.
2 is pretty good size.
Yeah. 2 is the one we're opening the bid for tonight.
Okay, so I don't understand about the will be a town expense thing. I guess that's what threw me off.
we're not doing Turkey Mountain Road tonight. We're doing Old Route 8. Isn't that correct?
I thought they were both together. Were they both together?
No, they're
No,
separate.
Oh,
they're
they're
separate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're separate projects. Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to change something on number 11?
I don't know the correct words to make that work. I'm not sure 1 and 2 are at town's expense, but I'm not exactly sure what portion of it is
Part of it is.
FEMA.
What's going to be done? Oh,
We've already.
I think 1 and 2 was mostly done by the Army Corps. That's the reason, or the National Guard.
Well, they did the road parts, but there was still some other things.
Just the
left to be done, right?
delineator was left, I think.
Wasn't this more?
I don't know. I don't know which one 2 is.
I'm trying to remember.
Is that the one on the corner? It's got to have the trees cut?
Yeah, no, I thought that was a hire of the tree.
What's that?
There was one we were talking about, someone hiring to take a tree down.
So there's more than one tree.
I
That
don't
was up a
remember that.
ways.
Is there a way we can put this, delay this approval until we get a chance to talk about
We can.
it? I would like to confer with him before we make a decision.
Confer with who?
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob Stomsky. That way we can get it clear, because I'm not clear about what that is, but we should make it at least as close to it.
It does say 1 and 2 will be at the town's expense, and we're putting out TM2 as a bid, so
I'm not sure.
better wait.
It was clearly confusing, but I think we should wait.
Okay, we can.
I move that we approve the minutes for the meeting with the exception of number 11, which we'll Table to the next meeting?
Okay, that sounds good.
I'd second that.
Okay, are there any other discussion on the minutes?
No.
Okay, all in favor, say aye with the table number 11.
Aye.
Okay, the October 22nd minutes are approved with the tabling of number 11, which will be at our next meeting. Number 2 is review and approve the select board pay orders. Number 3, review and approve timesheets for the highway department, town clerk's office, and minister's office. Public concerns, I don't think we have any. Next, we have Mr. Foxley. He's with Aflac, came to the town office last week and asked to do a little presentation on Aflac. It's not really insurance, you said, right?
It is, but it's
It is?
different.
Okay, all right.
I don't want, and do I need to stand up or?
You can sit, fine.
Okay. And actually, like it's Alexa, correct?
Yes.
Mentioned, my name's Joe Fox. I represent Aflac. And really, where Aflac fits in is it's nice because it's a benefit that towns and businesses can offer at no direct cost to the town itself. It's supplemental insurance. We're not major medical insurance. I'm not looking to replace or change anything that you currently have. On top of that, really, a lot of employers are looking for ways to offer more benefits to their employees and at no cost. And employees are looking for an affordable way to protect themselves and their families in the event they have a serious sickness or injury. And I work with a lot of different towns in the area. Actually, the town of Lynn Hall has just implemented Aflac. The town of Townsend opened through me, along with the town of Vernon and Grafton, Chester. And really, where Aflac fits in is in the event that a person is seriously sick or injured, they have two primary concerns. And they have their major medical expenses, and then they have their financial expenses. The major medical portion is what, the medical expenses is what your major medical insurance is designed to cover. The doctors, hospitals, get you the best treatment centers. Unfortunately, in the event a person's sick or injured, oftentimes they have all their financial concerns. Mortgage, rent, groceries, utilities, daycare. So in the event an employee for the town got sick or injured, and they had all these expenses coming due, what Aflac does is it pays cash, tax-free, directly to the people. The nice thing about Aflac is really it's customizable. It's not something that we just lay out and say, here's what you have, everybody sign on. It operates directly through me. And normally I say I represent Aflac for two main reasons. One being it's a Fortune 200 company with $80 billion in assets. That's important because any potential policyholder needs to know the company has the financial strength to pay its claims. And then secondly, it was voted the most ethical insurance company 6 years in a row by Ethisphere magazine, and the most admired insurance company, by Fortune magazine. I point this out because I'm well aware that insurance has a very bad stigma. And any person I sit down with, my word's really only as good as the company I represent. And Aflac does a stellar job of keeping its reputation clean and also processing its claims on an average of 4 to 7 business days. So any person that I sit down with, in the event they actually have to use the coverage, they're not going to either Terry or Patricia or whoever it is that handles payroll. Any policyholder I have has my cell phone, email, fax. They call me directly, hey Joe, I have an accident plan. I've been in an accident. I say, great, fill out this one form. Give me the doctor's notes. I fax it to Aflac, and they normally get paid within about 2 weeks. So it's incredibly fast. When I spoke earlier here at the office with the 3 women, really what I try and do is Aflac is based off of what's in place. For instance, if there's no benefits in place, then really we have 8 to 10 different programs. And so I went over kind of what you have in place in reference to, you have 2 employees that are currently on your major medical insurance. I understand that they have very comprehensive coverage, which is very common in a lot of towns. They have great benefits. However, you have a total of 6 employees that would be eligible for Aflac. We don't have a cutoff on hours. and it's something that would be employee funded. Meaning that in the event a person says, hey, I see value in this coverage, they would be able to fund it themselves. All that I ask is the town would just payroll deduct it. I know when I say that Aflac costs the town nothing, there is the one-time deduction set up in which I walk the person that handles the payroll through it, but after that takes place, Aflac pretty much takes care of itself. In terms of programs that really make the most sense, Aflac has, as I mentioned before, about 8 to 10 programs, but really the 4 key programs that we have is, one is an accident plan. An accident, most people think in terms of catastrophic. An accident to Aflac is any event that causes a person to seek medical attention other than a sickness. Cut your finger, a bee sting, a tick bite, all the way up to a broken bone or a car accident. Aflac says as soon as that person goes to a doctor, hospital, Grace Cottage, a chiropractor, if they throw their back out lifting something up, they receive $120. And then it just builds from there. The more severe the accident, if they have fall visits, Aflac pays $35 for up to 6 fall visits, $1,000 if they're hospitalized, $2,000 if it's ICU. And these funds that people receive are really designed to cover maybe the exposure they have with their major medical insurance, if they have a $2,000 deductible, or if they have a copay they have to hit. If it's a serious accident, they're definitely going to meet their deductible. But also to cover, give lump sum amounts of money to say, you've had an accident, you're going to have your exposure on your major medical insurance, but you're going to have all your other expenses, and there's a chance you might not be able to work. And that's really where the accident plan comes in. It's on or off the job, and along with it comes with $40,000 of accidental death life insurance, which is nice because a lot of people don't either have any or enough. And Aflac, all of our programs pay cash, tax-free, directly to the person. On top of it, it's no coordination of benefits, so it doesn't matter if 2 employees see the value in it, but they have completely different coverage. One is on the town's coverage, one is not. Aflac doesn't coordinate its benefits, it just pays lump sum amounts regardless of other coverage. It's fully portable, so in the event a person did decide to leave here after a year, retire, they can actually take their coverage with them. They would call me and say, hey Joe, I'm leaving the town of Jamaica, I'd like to take my accident plan with me. I would just transfer it to their bank account. And then 4th is it's actually guaranteed renewable, and Aflac rates are locked in, and they will never change. It's not like car insurance where if a person has Aflac coverage, they can use it 100 times or 0 times. It never changes their premium. Aflac's been around since 1955 and not once changed the rate on a policyholder. And for most people, if you have cable, cell phone, internet, really any bill you have, even your major medical insurance, we're seeing deductibles rise and rise. Aflac is probably one of the only things you'll ever have that will not change in your entire life, other than if you stop paying your premium. That would be the one thing that would change that. The other program we have is short-term disability. I was under the impression that short-term disability is not in place currently at the town. I'm not actually sure what the sick days are in terms of really how long a person, if they were sick or injured out of work, how long they would not have coverage. Aflac has 6 months short-term disability that really states that if a person chooses the elimination period, say they have 7 sick days, and they say I can go a week without a paycheck, but if I had a broken bone or I had something happen where I was out of work for a week, after a week I really could not afford to pay my bills. Aflac would then kick in, and it's actually off-the-job disability because workman's comp covers them on the job. Unfortunately, most people, when they go skiing or they do have bonfires, whatever people do when they go home, that's oftentimes where most disabilities occur. Aflac has a very flexible spectrum in terms of if a person said, it's based off of what their income qualifications are. So say a person earns $20,000 a year. The federal government states you can only give a person 70% of their paycheck if they're sick or injured, not at work. And so if they're eligible for $1,000 a month in short-term disability, if they missed a month, they would collect $1,000. Maybe that would cost them $6 a week. If they said, Joe, I can get by on less than $1,000 a month if I'm out of work, I can reduce the coverage down to $500 a month, which would cost them around $3 to $4 a week. And what most people spend on their Aflac coverage is about an hour's wage per week. The way I break it down typically is if a person works 30 hours a week, or 40, or even 20, I say, hypothetically, you work 30 hours a week, take 1 hour to protect the other 29 hours that you're working. Most people I sit with, that 1 hour at the end of the work week, missing and investing in their paycheck, they typically aren't going to go home and say, hey, I can't pay my bills, I have $8 missing, I can't pay my mortgage. in the event they have a serious sickness or injury, it'll allow them to pay those bills. It's not something where everyone has the same coverage. An accident plan and short-term disability really work hand in hand because, say a person has an accident, they go to the hospital, they receive $120 maybe for the initial visit, $35 for the follow-ups or for physical therapy to offset their copay, but maybe they're not missing work. They would still collect from that accident plan. In the event they had an accident off the job, then they would collect a portion of their paycheck alongside the things that offset their exposure. Those two plans together for most people really is about $10, about an average of an hour's wage per week or less. The other programs is I did bring in a dental program. Aflac has it available. It used to be a core benefit. It's now a luxury benefit. Most people do not have it. And I think there was some interest expressed when I was talking about it. Our dental program, most people are used to Delta Dental. Aflac has a higher cap. It's $1,400 on a yearly basis. It does have some elimination periods. It pays $50 towards the preventative 2 cleanings a year, $50 towards each cleaning, $25 towards an x-ray. But really the way that it works is it's designed for over a period of time. As the person has more procedures, Aflac just pays cash for each procedure. After 2 years, there's no elimination periods. As soon as someone has dental work done, Aflac just pays them, and then we offer life insurance. Whole life, term, juvenile, it's fully portable. And those really are the 4 main programs. Aflac also has catastrophic coverage. Our cancer plan's really the cornerstone benefit, and we also have a heart plan as well. But those 4, especially accident and disability, for most people, when I sit down with them and say, hey, if something happened to you where you were sick or injured, could you really afford to pay all of your expenses? Most people say, no, I can't afford to. And to spend anywhere between $5 to $10 a week to protect themselves, for most people, makes sense. I know that actually D&K Jamaica is an account of mine. I know that I've had very high participation there, along with a lot of other accounts. I live in Arlington, and really implementing Aflac through a town is pretty smooth transition. The only stipulation that I make generally is that I can actually pre-tax Aflac. I don't know if major medical insurance here is pre-taxed. It's a little more technical, but Aflac can just set up a Section 125 document that's free. We can pre-tax an accident plan, we can pre-tax dental, and it saves the employees 25%, saves the town a little bit of money as well. It's not a significant amount. So it's not something where you're implementing Aflac to get rich, but it offsets the one-time deduction setup. And all that it requires is me to see each of the 6 employees that would be eligible, and they either sign on or sign off. The reason being, in the event a person had a serious accident 2 months, 2 years from now, they can't come to the town and say, I didn't know that I had an accident plan available. I didn't know I had short-term disability available. It's just something where they either say, yes, I'm interested, and no, they're not. And it's something that I know I wanted to run by the select board, and I actually work with the Dover School. I represented the school board there as well, and just to make sure that everyone knows what's in place and how it moves forward. I think, and actually I even made packets that really just have the 4 products that I talked about along with the rates. Aflac accident plan is available on an individual, husband, wife, 2-parent family basis. So it's really something in which, do you need a packet at the end? It's really something in which it's customizable. If a person says, I want to cover myself, for an accident plan, it's $5.19 pre-tax. So they're looking at $4 coming out of the paycheck. They said, I want to cover my wife. They can cover them. Children are covered up until 26, like major medical. And the short-term disability, that spectrum, it just shows on the top of the person earns, anywhere between 12 and it goes all the way up to, $100,000 a year. Just shows how much they're eligible for. So if they earn $22,000 a year, they're eligible for $1,000 a month. And if they're between the ages of 1,100, if they're between the age of 18 and 49, it's $6.60. If they're older, it's more expensive. I can decrease the amount of coverage a person has. I just can't give them more money a month than what they earn. And that's really, those are just the 3 rates. The life insurance is just something that I normally say to a person, do you have life insurance? Have you thought about it? This is what we offer. I don't require blood screening or blood tests. I just ask questions. Have any questions for me?
One quick one. I noticed a bunch of these cut off at 65.
Yes, an accident plan is The cutoff is 64 for an accident plan. However, a person can keep an Aflac plan for the rest of their life, other than short-term disability. So, say for instance, the person signs up at 64 for an accident plan, they can have it for the rest of their life. But there is an age limit of 64 on the accident plan, and then it's 74 for the short-term disability, and then it's 65 for the dental. Life insurance, of course, has no age limit. It's just more expensive as the person gets older. And actually, depending on how much time a person has accrued in terms of how long they can go without a paycheck, the short-term disability really can go anywhere down to like $3 for a younger person that's under the age of 49, or around $4. It goes even lower than that. So it's pretty customizable for each person. And the other thing I was going to say is our short-term disability is a guaranteed issue, which means any person, if they've gone in for knee surgery or they have carpal tunnel, Aflac will issue their short-term disability. They won't be covered due to 12 months of pre-existing. Clearly, you can have a heart attack and then buy an Aflac short-term disability. You can go in, work for the next 6 months, but a person can automatically have coverage.
Okay. I think we probably should offer it to our employees. Have Joe come and talk to them, and it's up to them because it's not going to cost the town any money. It comes out of
Yeah, this would apply to all of our employees.
yes, the 6 that we have.
Yeah, I mean, and the one thing too is even with Aflac, in some circumstances, elected officials are covered as long as they're a W-2 employee, but in the case here, I believe it's stipend, so it becomes a little bit more difficult in terms of going out to like even select board members. But yeah, that only thing I would need to do is just fill out. Sometimes I do come across some select boards that say, how are we going to know there's interest? It's a valid concern. Generally what I do is I do a presentation, 15 minutes either the group or individually, one-on-one, whatever's most convenient to not tie up the workforce. And then I just have them fill out a 1-minute survey that states of the programs available. I have interest in X, 1 of 4 or none. And then I actually give them a day or 2 days to think about it. And I come back and say, here's what Aflac is. I give them a packet like that, and I say I'll be back in 2 days. If you want to enroll, great. If not, I'll just have you sign the waiver.
I think that have them all come in and listen to Joe at once.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be an all-day affair, just, short.
Don't take this long. I mean,
Yeah.
To do it, they can come in, they can listen to him.
I think it's a
look
good
at
idea.
it.
Yeah.
If you want to give Pat a call tomorrow to set up a time.
yeah, I'm headed to the town of Grafton to do a service visit tomorrow, and I thought I
If you
would
could
just
stop by
in.
here and maybe we can pick out a time, we can find out what's best for our highway department, and we can work around the transfer station.
And I could just do it at 2 different locations. I mean, and the most important thing is I am a very low pressure person where it's not something where they have to sign up on the spot, and really I find for a lot of people it's something that they are definitely interested in.
Yeah, if you stop by tomorrow, and then we can make arrangements to have them all together.
Yes.
Or make 2, whatever's convenient for you and for the employee.
Yeah, definitely. And I will be passing through here around 10 o'clock.
Okay.
That seems like a reasonable time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And then also my card with all my information is in there, so in the event that any of you decide to reach out to me if you have any further questions, you can definitely do so. There's a lot of accounts here in the area that have done it, and it's worked out pretty well. So.
Well, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Kelly?
Yes, you may. Yes, you may. You're excused.
Okay, just making sure I'm not seeing like getting out of Dodge early.
Okay.
And then just one
I'm
last
sorry.
question. Would I be able to just go over all the paperwork with Patricia? She would be the person
Sure, yeah.
to establish the account in the event you decide to move forward.
Right, you can go over with her.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, next we have the bids for Old U8 project. We have 2 sealed bids. Pass them down to make sure they're sealed.
Good.
Good night, thank you. Pass them all the way down, please. We can't keep the duck. I wanted the duck.
Of course, ethical insurance companies and obviously more on.
Is, okay,
No, I used to, oh, you got, you got,
I don't know, is it very open?
we can open it.
yeah.
All right.
I have the magic opener.
Hmm?
No, it's a special trained knife.
Can you read them?
Sure.
Well, the first bid is from GPT Maintenance.
What was it again?
GPT
GPT
Maintenance. I think they're a new thing.
Townsend.
Townsend? Okay, sorry. This is for over 8. The bid is $2,480. Second bid. Did we require a bid bond with this? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did on this one.
There's no notice, I was just looking over and thinking about it.
Okay, the second bid is from Raymond Smith. His bid is for $2,762.50.
Would you repeat the number again?
2762.50.
Yeah. Can we just take a quick look at the comparison with the unit prices? It's interesting how unclassified excavate, okay, 55 yards, 4 hours approximately. He shows $11 for a unit price. He shows 122, but it must be because he's calculating it differently.
This is supposed to be against cubic yards, right? So this is against something else.
Removal of approximately 55 cubic yards. He's doing it at $11 a cubic yard. He's doing it at $55 or 4 hours to do it. So he's doing it as an hourly number. But his total amount for that is $480, 605.
Mobilization
Mobilization, right?
is 150.
And what's the next one? Seed,
Seed, $5.
total $40.
Mulch, 25 bales. 600 East Kentucky.
And what's the last one?
300 for the hay, topsoil.
I'm just going to do the addition myself just to see how.
You want a calculator?
Yes. $480,
0.
$920,
That's 920 plus
40,
0 plus
112.5, 112,
1250.
0.5, right?
5.
And
Plus
1210.
1210.
What does that sum to?
2762.
Yeah. Okay, let's do the other. 605,
605 plus
150,
150 plus
50,
50 plus
300,
330 plus
1375.
1375 equals 2480.
Yeah. So the unit prices do match the totals. So GPT Maintenance is the apparent low bidder. Do we have we worked with GPT Maintenance before?
You know who they are, Brian?
Yes.
It's, yeah, Clark.
Yeah.
And he used to work for Larry Brown, I believe, right?
No.
No,
It's,
Clinton's, I'm sorry, yeah. So he's done construction. He just went on his own. What is your pleasure?
I just want to know if anybody's had experience with them.
He did the work up here with the bridge for the guy on the right,
Joel?
the other side.
Oh, you mean just this bridge up here on
Yeah.
Route
There
3?
we go.
Joel,
There's two
Mooney?
Joels.
Oh, Blooming, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
The
two Joels.
each, the
Yeah,
neighbors
that's
of
right.
a Joel on each side.
Yeah.
And,
He's done work for, I think, for Wattsboro and
okay. Do you all feel comfortable with it?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then I move that we award the old Route 8 contract to GPT Maintenance for $24.80.
You have a second?
I'll second that. This is a little confusing when you didn't use the same, well, you can see the bottom line.
Yeah,
How
it's
much
called
lower is he then?
about,
$250 bucks.
yeah.
But it's unclear exactly how they arrived at it. GPT used the same unit pricing scheme that we designed it. But this other one, they were charging for hours as opposed to cubic yards, and so it's hard to compare apples to oranges, but the bottom line is comparable.
The interesting thing here, though, is that GPT is higher on every unit price with the exception of mobilization.
Yeah.
So,
What in the town's best interest, have to go with low bidding, though we know Raymond a little better, or
Yeah, it's
as long as we all feel comfortable with GPT, and I think, I don't know much about it,
No, Dale's good.
okay.
There's nothing here in
I don't know.
these
but.
documents.
And we know he has the
that
equipment
suggests
to do the job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, order date bid has been awarded to GPT Maintenance in the amount of $2,480. Okay, next on the agenda is our standard form agreement between the contractor and the owner, which is the town contractor, for stipulated price on Coleman to repair Coleman Hill roads and Goodville Road. Project includes road resurfacing, stone line ditch construction, culvert pipe replacement, culvert pipe cleaning, and roadway regrading. And this just needs, it's a standard agreement that we've been doing, it just needs our signature. Pass that down. Next on the agenda is...
What was that? Is the standard agreement for what?
The standard form of agreement between the owner and contractor on the basis of a stipulated price. This is what we've been doing for all our, when they get their, they're awarded the bid, and
It's engineered, you mean?
it's all the costs, what they're responsible for, what the town's responsible for.
So that's to be done, you mean?
That's already done, it's just they, the engineer, this is between the engineer and us right now. So it's what what their responsibility is to the town.
The people who do the work.
No, the engineering company,
Oh,
CHA, what they, doing the plans, and doing all the stuff that they have to do for us. You can pass it down, okay?
The work's already done.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, the engineering work's already done.
yes.
That says what it's for.
I mean, there was Coleman Hills and where?
Coleman Goodville Road.
That one little piece of good.
And we're the owners.
We're the ones that town
Who
says.
was doing that one?
Well, this is just the engineering work, CHA.
If you said a little piece on Goodville Road?
Yeah. It's like a little parking area.
We should probably
Area
point out
outside.
that they have this as the town of Jamaica.
It's gotta be
Future.
Yeah, it was just used for storage and
Where's that?
mobilization, just to see that.
I didn't see that at all.
So who has to clean that up?
Whoever it will, it's put out the
I
bid
read that 2 times.
Oh,
on Goodville Road. Probably won't be bothered bidding on that. The reason we didn't put that out was because we didn't know if people were going to pay for that.
part of this is confusing to me in that there's some blanks. The agreement is dated as of blank day, I can live with that blank, between the town of Jamaica, Vermont, hereinafter called the owner, and blank, hereinafter called contractor. If this is supposed to be CHA, that ought to be in there, right?
Let me see that.
I think that's supposed to be CHA. Up the top one, first paragraph.
Okay, maybe they, we can hold off on this until tomorrow.
Take a
And I'll
look
bring
at
it
it,
in.
yeah.
I'm sure it's,
It just sounds confusing.
they probably just forgot to put it in there because the project said it's gonna be designed by CHA. But we can hold off on that one. Okay. All right, next we have a request from the Brownville Development Credit Corporation. They'd like to make a presentation as to what they can offer the town of Jamaica for their support. Do you want me to give them a call and they want to come to one of our meetings?
What kind of service are they offering?
They provide the regional economic development work that they're currently undertaking, future plans, and why we need their support. Let's see, expand broadband in southern Vermont. It's for the economic goals for Jamaica. And we can invite them to the,
Certainly worth listening to.
we can invite
Say.
them to the meeting.
Yeah. I met her, this woman made a presentation to, we went to Killington for that meeting kind of thing. And we're talking about how they're funding and financing a lot of the different projects around.
Okay, well, they can come and talk to us.
Sure.
Next on the agenda is a letter of transmittal from Dufresne Group on the sidewalk project. It's, what it is, it's the letter and the plans for the sidewalk project that contractors can come and look at all that information. Plans are due by November 29th.
The pre-bid meeting is going to be Wednesday at 2 o'clock.
This Wednesday?
Yeah,
For the sidewalk?
so for the sidewalk. The project has already gone out to bid, and as Alexa said, the bids will be due on the 29th. Hopefully we'll get some good bids this time.
I hope
So this is the 14th meeting?
Right, that's the pre-bid conference.
Okay. Next, we received notice from Coda and Coda, formerly Field Service. It's on a 212 excise tax exemption forms and registration that we have to complete. It's to certify certificate of local, state and local governmental unit. It's by excise tax. On their fuel. Apparently it's something they need for the state.
Was there a tax exemption when we were getting the oil from Curly?
I believe we have a tax exemption.
Maybe this is just an update.
It's for their records,
Yeah.
because they're new.
Makes, yeah.
Who signs that?
The town will.
That, the town clerk, or?
No, I will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, next on the agenda, we received a notice from the state of Vermont informing us that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer is requesting a change of Ball Mountain Reservoir to Ball Mountain Lake. There's going to be a hearing on Tuesday. No, what is it? Okay, I'm sorry, on Tuesday, November 20th in Middlebury. If they don't hear from us by November 16th, they'll assume there are no objections. I don't feel there should be any objections to changing the name from Ball Mountain Reservoir to Ball Mountain Lake. Does anybody have any
Nope.
to offer on that?
Can't think of a reason.
It's not leaking or anything, is it? It's a leak and now it's
Call the
gonna
ball
be a
out
lake.
leak. No, that's,
Actually, it's so small now, I wouldn't even call it a lake.
I know.
Right. Let it stay that way. We received two notices from Wyndham Regional Commission regarding a public hearing on Town of Londonderry's town plan and also the town plan from Moon Hall. Both hearings will be held on November 15th at 6:30. One at the Londonderry Town Hall, Town Office, and one at the Wynn Hall Town Office. The Wynn Hall, obviously you can tell they're Wynn Hall and Londonderry. And we're a budding landowner, so they have to let us know that they are doing their town plan. We received a letter of resignation from Ray Barrows, who was the president of the Jamaica Recreation Committee. I, Ray Barrows, would like to resign as president of the Jamaica Rec Committee. While on the Rec Committee, I've tried to promote all that is good about sports to our young people. It's my hope that the newly formed committee will continue all that has been established. Respectfully submitted, Ray Barrows. And we do have minutes of the Jamaica Recreation Committee minutes. Their meeting was on November 6th. And they have new members. Let's see, Julie Lowe is treasurer. Becky Tolbert is secretary. Matthew Winkler is president. So we had appointed, after the town meeting appointed the recreation committee folks, that they put their name in. I would like to see a motion taking out, making the change of the recreation committee.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
say that again.
So we accept this, that goes along with it.
Well, I'd like to make it a separate motion on Ray.
Raise, okay, so we'll do this one first, we'll do Ray's first. Motion,
But I'll move that we accept Raymond's resignation with our appreciation for his work he's done for the last number of years.
Andy, okay. And the second motion will be on the newly formed committee.
Is there only three?
Attendance, okay. Julie Lowe nominates Matthew Winkler as president. Becky Tolbert nominates Julie Lowe as treasurer. Julie Lowe nominates Becky Tolbert. Ray Barrows, Keith Abbott, Mark Miller, Michelle Beatty, and Laura Ryan were on the committee. They're going to see if those folks still want to, except for Ray Barrows, unless he just doesn't, to see if he still wants to be on the committee. He just resigned as president. Maybe he'd still stay on. So it looks like we have a new people on the rec committee.
Just in his letter, it says,
He just as president.
right, that it's my hope that the newly formed committee will continue all that has been established. Can stay on it. It's on it.
Okay, it looks like Charlie Pearson is vice president. That was way down at the end. So it'd be Matthew Winkler, Julie Lowe, Becky Tolbert, and Charlie Pearson. Those are the members right now, and they're going to contact the rest of the members.
I think the reason we had to do this formally was so they could transfer the checking account.
Right, because Ray didn't want to, he was doing everything, and he didn't want to do that.
Well, the way it was written up in the beginning too, is the select board has to approve or something all the
With the what?
the members.
Right, like
The
you do.
appointment,
it.
yeah.
You know, you can't jump on board without first,
Right, because that's what we do after town meeting. They get submit names and then we either accept them or not. So.
I was just hoping there was more than 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, and they are gonna talk to the other ones to see if they still wanna be on it.
So it may be more than 4.
Yeah, but you take like Ray and Mark Miller, I mean, they don't have any kids there anymore.
No, it's hard. It's hard to get people to do volunteer work.
And we met once a month. There was 15 of us.
Right.
Oh, really?
That was one time, the olden days.
A lot of kids,
Hmm?
a lot of kids.
Yeah, there's still a lot of children that participate, but
We had
it's just the adults.
85 out of 120 just played ball. That's a pretty good average.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't got to the second motion yet. Okay, do you wanna make a motion on this one?
Do we move that we accept
did
those
raise.
members for the committee?
We can do that. We haven't done that yet.
I haven't seconded the first one yet.
Okay,
The second one was, the first one was seconded by Andy.
Yeah, that's,
That
let's
was
vote on that one first.
Ray Barrows as president.
You have to do a motion at a time.
Right, and then the second motion would be on the appointments of,
well, did we accept his resignation?
We,
yes. We
Voted on
yeah,
that?
we haven't voted on it yet.
No.
haven't voted on, okay, we haven't finished that vote. Okay, we're
Okay.
talking too much.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Keep us on track here. Any further discussion on Ray Barrows?
No.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Um,
Okay, we've accepted the resignation of Ray Barrows as president of the rec committee. Okay, now we can go to the second. Here's this right here. We
You
have
want
to
us to make a motion?
Sure. I move that we accept,
I'll give you a copy of it.
do we just accept the 4, or is it everybody else in the committee as well? That's what's
Except the
unclear.
except the 4 new members, why don't we accept the 4 new members? Because they haven't resigned, the other ones.
Right, but all these other people did attend the meeting, so.
They did.
This time?
I think at the top, who was at the meeting? It tells you at the top.
Ray Barrows, Julie Lowe, Matt Winkler, Valerie Bills, Carrie Lane, Charlie Pearson, Carolyn Pearson, and Becky Colbert. So it sounds like that's actually a committee. They just elected officers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I said I was hoping there was more than 4. And it sounds like.
Sounds like there is at the top, okay. So those folks want to be on the
Yeah.
rec committee.
But it's not a new committee that we're,
It's sort of a reconstituted committee.
okay.
Right. Because the other folks don't have any kids there in school anymore. Or any little ones. But they haven't resigned yet, so,
You probably won't. No one ever did.
Yeah, so
no, so we'll just add the top names.
I'll move that these attendees be accepted as members of the Recreation Committee with the 4 members, Julie Lowe, with Matthew Winkler as president, Julie Lowe as treasurer, Becky Tolbert as secretary,
Down the
There's
bottom.
another one.
Charlie
And-
Pearson as vice president.
Charlie Pearson as vice president.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And I'll make a copy for you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion is carried. Okay, we received a letter from Sullivan and Powers and Company, that the public accountants that will do our auditing. It's confirming their understanding of the terms and objectives of their engagement with the town as to the audit of the town's financial statements of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information for the year ended June 30th, 2012. for the select board to review. It's the scope of services that they're gonna provide to us when they audit the books for next year for the town. And they probably will be sending us a form to fill out. Agreements.
One of the interesting things that came out of this meeting on Friday, when they do the audit, they need to separate the flood stuff from the non-flood stuff.
Right, they know,
They know what that,
they know exactly.
then when they
what
separate
they're
the flood stuff down into each PW, we are reimbursed, we would be reimbursed for the cost of the audit for those larger projects.
doing. So we'll wait and see.
Well, what became
We
interesting,
have to have the audit done, and hopefully
yeah,
it'll work. If not, it has to be done.
They're doing surrounding towns still, probably, or Wardsboro.
I don't know if Borsville contacted them or not. I don't know. I
I
know they,
wonder if they're doing any other towns that have.
They could
that
be.
same,
thought so.
You know, the other.
they could be, but we wanted to get them on our list. We wanted to get on your list, so you don't have to scramble in January and make sure that things go smoothly for us. Brian, do you have anything? Lou?
Nothing.
Paul?
I do. Keith and I, actually Keith put together, and I typed it, the policy for the inspection and maintenance of the town's culverts. As you know, one of the requirements of FEMA that they want to see in writing our policies about maintenance and inspection and stuff. So had Keith put it together, we typed it up. It needs our signature. I put today's date, but if anybody has any questions about it, you can certainly redo it at a later date if you'd like. Very simple. A few paragraphs.
It's just a
What is
policy.
this for?
This is for the inspection and maintenance of the town's culverts.
Now, the inspection's gonna be done by the Wyndham Region Commission.
Well, that's a separate issue. We're talking about our routine town guys inspecting our culverts. So go out, look, if it's clogged, and that kind of stuff. The Wyndham Commission is coming back, and they're gonna do an inspection to the extent that they're gonna document them and log them in. This is an inspection as to their conditions.
Isn't that inventory that they're doing part of, tell us
Says
what the
exactly
condition
how-
was?
I think they are. I think they are, but this is our routine policy
Maintenance.
for the day-to-day, week-to-week kind of maintenance of these issues, because what comes up is, they look at it and say, yeah, it's been trashed, but was it trashed before the storm or after? So we have to.
So that means that he's gonna have to go and, as he inspects the culvert, identify what his findings are.
You tell me who. Well, in theory, the ones that were, needed maintenance would be logged in as things to do. The ones that did not need any maintenance would not necessarily be logged in as something to do. So for paperwork purposes, an affirmative problem would initiate movement. If there's no affirmative problem, not necessarily. How he wants to manage that entirely up to him. We just needed to be able to show that we are looking at these things and we've got a policy.
Sounds like it's really just maintenance of the.
Twice weekly, that seems like an awful lot.
If you drive by it,
Yeah, but we're talking 300 culverts,
1,400 culverts.
1,400.
Well, who's doing it?
Look
Oh,
at each
gee.
end.
It seems like an awful lot of culverts to check twice weekly.
well,
They do them 50 miles an hour.
They won't
Oh.
put any plans, and if it snows, I guess we'll scratch that. I think that can be revised. What would be, Brian, what would be feasible?
Basically, this, when he needs to inspect them, they drive by and just make sure they're not clogged up.
clogged and crushed. Yeah.
But you ever tell that, you've got to stop and get out. You just can't drive by them and kind of,
You know, if it's raining, you can see a puddle there.
That's a clue.
I mean, some culverts have a whole lot of silt that's blocking the entrance to it.
Right.
And you can't see that just by driving by.
Yes, I mean, that's what they do.
Could you put the culverts as needed? Something to that effect?
Well, I think every culvert should be checked once a year for, major plug. I mean, go up and look, see how much rust there is, if it's a metal culvert, see if there's debris in it. I mean,
Like they could do 2 a month or something
well,
like that?
this sounds like it's just their routine, drive up the road, see if there's any issues that strike them.
Yeah.
But I think we need to have something in there where they have to physically
Well,
look at it. Like, for example, there's a culvert on my road, right across my driveway, it's actually across the road near my driveway, that's been half plugged for the last year. That one ought to be on some kind of list to be cleaned out. I'd like to see that list. Maybe
But
once
is
a year.
that on, I mean, do we want that on, that should be on what we tell the town guys to do. Should that be on what the,
Our policy? I would think that's what FEMA's looking for. How often do we expect to look at
FEMA
it?
just wants to know that we paid attention to it before the flood. How we define that is up to us.
Oh,
They just want
right,
to
I
make
mean,
sure.
if we wanna put a policy in for our town guys saying every culvert has to be, you know, actually stopped and inspected, but I'm not sure if that's what FEMA's looking for.
As near as I can tell, they just want to show that we have a policy in place demonstrating that we have been paying attention to these culverts. And had they gone south before the storm,
They
we
don't
would fix it.
care if it's 15 times a year we
Oh,
look at it?
So they want a policy showing that we actually, and so what we're trying to do, when I talk to Keith about this, is trying to put into writing what they've been doing all the time, all along anyhow. Because they've always been looking at culverts, you drive by, it's clogged, doesn't mean it's bad. So we're not trying to make something up as much as we're trying to put in writing what we've already been doing.
So do you think that will cover just the drive-bys? Or do you want to change the wording?
Is that, like- I don't know. That's what,
I guess by inspection, what they really mean is there any sticks or leaves or other things that would prohibit water from getting through them at the moment? As opposed to, are these plugged with gravel? Or are they rusting out? Or,
So you want to differentiate between checked
well,
and
Keith
inspected?
actually has a list over there that tells, you know, what each culvert is and what condition it's in that they did
what condition
before.
it was in 10 years ago when they did that inspection?
No, it wasn't 10 years ago, was it?
When Sager did it?
I don't know who did it.
It was at least 5 or 6 years ago. I think more than that.
But then he's supposed to be changing it off on as far as, you know, what ones are changed and.
I don't know.
So you want to differentiate between checked
And
weekly
inspect
for debris and clog and inspected once a year?
for its condition.
And
Yeah.
inspected?
I think once a year, I mean, you might put a routine together where you put 4 or 5 streets, roads you do today. Next week you do another 4 or 5 roads. And you actually physically get out, look at them, and see what the condition is.
All right, how's this sound?
And some of them we won't be able to tell by just driving by, right?
So it's all
Right.
culverts belonging to the town of Jamaica shall be checked twice weekly for debris and clogs and inspected for condition and serviceability once a year.
Once a year.
Okay.
How's that sound?
That sounds good.
But you can check it for debris and clogs by driving by.
Right.
If it's clogged, it's clogged. It's not, it's not. But inspected for condition and serviceability once a year. How's that sound? Okay?
That sounds
So is this a motion?
No, I gotta rewrite this. I'll rewrite this and we'll have it
Scratch that one.
the next time we meet, whenever that is.
Okay.
Or, if this is substantially okay, I'll rewrite it, produce it, and leave it downstairs to be signed as you guys drift in and out.
I think that's a better idea.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion.
All right, so that's the only change to that. The rest of it reads, replacement shall be done on a piece-by-piece basis. In regards to condition of placement, stone head wall shall be built on all new culverts that are installed on town roads. Paragraph, culverts shall be mapped and recorded as they are replaced.
Are stone headers following our new policy, our 2011 Orange Book policy?
I would leave that to the road commissioner. That was a conversation that went on over my head.
It's not what they're gonna have.
I'm just,
Remember what Larry said it cost them about $2,500
I know.
a culvert? No, the town guys are putting in take the,
but I'm just, well, I guess my point is that means we're not following the 2011 V-Trans policy.
I don't know.
Oh, I think putting the stone head walls follows the policy, but how they produce the head walls is the difference between the state policy and ours. Would you say that's true? Because the state highways require a certain standard head wall.
I mean, I've never seen any town that went to the trouble of putting in head walls like they were making us.
Yeah. But the problem we're running into, and this is the thing that's been driving us nuts all along, if we do it the way we've always done it, we're fine until we want, well, we haven't had a lawsuit yet, but until we want federal money or state money to do this. If we're perfectly willing to pay for the whole thing ourselves, we can throw them together. But if we want to have any kind of financial support, either state or federal, we have to jump through those particular hoops.
My only concern is if we put this in the document with the intention of getting into FEMA with stone head walls, and that's an obvious violation of the Orange Book, then
I don't think the stone head walls, the definition of stone head walls fluctuates between having a
Why
company.
don't we just
I
take
guess
all
I'd like to
this?
have Keith call John Alexander
Okay.
and ask him if we are, since we're signed on to the 2011 Orange Book, are stone head walls
Yeah, why don't
sufficient to
we
meet that?
take that up at the next meeting?
I mean, we have,
Okay.
we do put stone head walls in. I'm just saying we're not putting in the sides. And-
Right, I understand it, but I'm worried about putting the word stone in here. If it doesn't meet V-Trans standards,
No, stone does.
the Orange Book?
That's what the engineers was having us do, stone.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought-
It's just they had to be huge, and that's where, and mortared, which the mortar
Right.
is not gonna last, 6 months. Next spring, those are gonna be all broke, just broke up. And the frost is gonna get under them, and they're not
I
gonna.
just don't want to put anything in here that is obviously
But
a
no,
breach, and then FEMA's gonna say, well, if you're doing that, you're not meeting 2011 standards.
no, you could use either state standard concrete, or I think they call it stone rubble head walls. And that's
Let's
what
have
everybody
Keith
did.
call John Alexander and see the best way to.
Why don't we hold off on that until another time?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll put this together, I'll talk with Keith, and we'll get it ready for next time.
Okay, do you have anything else, Bob?
No.
Your time is up.
Oh, yeah, this one little thing, we were talking before about the need for computer support with the EMD and with the stuff that we're doing and all the other things that's going on. Pat had a suggestion, and then Keith and I talked about it today, and what I'm going to do, rather than get another computer, is piggyback on the one that the town garage has.
Right, that's a good idea.
So we can both, we're both using it
Mhm.
for both the emergency management stuff and the town's garage stuff.
That makes sense.
Because I think we have a limited amount of stuff.
Right.
We may need to tap into for some software expenses, but the hardware, I got it working today. I finally made it work on the printer. I think it'll work out okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah, saves $500 or $600 or $700.
Yeah. Okay, Andy, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, I don't have anything. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
That was quick.
That was-
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.